welcome to the Chaotic Riff News TV update. And let me tell you, this is episode 10. I can't believe we've done 10 of these news updates. I always have a truckload of fun doing these. And of course, we're going to let you guys know what is going on at Chaotic Riff TV this week and what to be on the lookout for. Well, we got a bunch of exciting news as usual, so tune in because you're not going to want to miss this latest news update. Wow. Okay, and today it is Sunday, August 11th. I cannot believe it. We're already into August. The year is almost up. So many exciting things happening here. Okay, so let me tell you guys what is going on. On Tuesday, August 6th, okay, we world premiered our episode of the This Is Metal show with Mind Incision bassist Joel Tarshner. Now, we were originally supposed to, as I told you guys, interview with Singer, but something came up, so we had Joel come on instead. Band very much wanted to come on to This Is Metal show and still do the interview, so we got to hear Joel's story and hear his perspective about what's going on in the band, and it was quite a fun episode. And we love to have bands like Mind Incision come on the This Is Metal show because, again, it's putting a light on a great up-and-coming band that a lot of people might not know about just yet, but they're starting to make some serious noise, and so we were glad to have Joel come on. But I got to tell you guys, in case you haven't watched the episode yet, okay, because it just premiered this week, a lot of stuff going on. Then, if that's not exciting enough, on August 7th, this past Wednesday, we finally reported the big, huge anniversary show that we've been talking all about. Of course, I'm talking about Tom Collier's 1-year anniversary as the host of the This Is Metal show. Now, as many of you know, This Is Metal started out as pretty much a radio podcast. It was something that you would tune in to listen to. You had me and the original host, Joel Lawson. We'd have conversations about basically all things metal. You tune in every week. You didn't really know what you're going to get, but you knew we'd be talking about metal, so that's why you tuned in. Well, at one point, August of last year, 2023 to be exact, Joel Lawson informed me that he was no longer going to be able to commit to doing a weekly show. He had other things going on in his personal life that were that needed his attention. So then the search began for a new host, and I think I shared this with you guys that. Before I even asked Tom Collier, one of the first people I reached out to was a legendary metal vocalist, Sean Peck, from Cage, The Three Tremors, Death Dealer. You know the man. I mean, he's been compared a lot to Rob Halford. And, you know, I've had many opportunities to interview Sean Peck over the years, and always been a super nice guy. I always enjoyed talking to Sean. He's definitely, when you think of metal, Sean Peck is definitely a name that comes up when you're thinking about just great metal vocalist. He's one guy who you instantly comes to mind. He's often been referred to Rob Halford. He's got that same kind of Halford type of a voice. Immediately, the next person I reached out to was our very own Tom Collier. I'd interviewed Tom himself about his own band Held Hostage over the years, and I always found Tom to be a super friendly, nice guy. And there were so many other reasons, but I thought, okay, you know, I'm going to reach out to Tom. I think he has what it takes to make for a great co-host. And my instincts were so dead on. I had no idea at the time. And I was so happy, you know, when I asked Tom, and he didn't hesitate. He told me, you know, yeah, I would love to do this. And it's interesting because, you know, at the time when I asked Tom, I had no idea at that time that he had just asked to become the president of Fire Rock Music Group. Great up-and-coming label. And interestingly enough, Tom is also, you know, this month celebrating his 1-year anniversary since becoming the president of Fire Rock. And it all has kind of coincided at around the same time. And because of that, Fire Rock agreed, once Tom became the host, to kind of sponsor our weekly show. And a lot of great things have happened as a result of that. As Tom and I like to say, we're a team. You know, yes, I did the show originally with somebody else, but Tom is the co-host now. This is not my show or Tom's show. Tom and I, we have an equal say in the show. We're partners in the truest sense of the word. Um, we plan the shows together. We discuss ideas for the show, and almost every week when we record a new episode, I will then call Tom, and we'll have maybe a 20, 30-minute discussion about the show we just recorded. And we always joke around that, each time, I tell you, each time we do a new episode, we just get better and better. And as you guys have witnessed, we've done over 50 of these episodes since Tom has become my co-host. And getting back to the anniversary show, originally Tom and I wanted to have Ross the Boss and Rhino, because Rhino and Ross the Boss, of course, they both did their own time in legendary metal band Manowar, and Rhino now is also the drummer for both Held Hostage and Ross the Boss's solo band. And we originally wanted to have them as our special guest for the special anniversary show, but because they were at the time on a European tour, they were unable to take part in the show. So I asked Tom, "Hey Tom, do you have any idea on who you'd want to take them part in our special anniversary?" I said we should line up like 2 to 3 special guests, and he made some suggestions. I said, Tom, I think it would be fun if you don't mind. I said I would like to pick 3 special surprise guests near and dear to you, but you're not going to know who's going to be appearing on the anniversary show until the day of the show. He went along with that, and just to give you guys a little behind the scenes of what took place in setting up the special anniversary show for Tom, immediately I wanted to get people that not only been guests themselves on This Is Metal, but people that I knew were near and dear to Tom's heart. So immediately I asked both Scott Braun, who is a great legendary, he's a great rock photographer. Now, I use the word legend, and I don't know what Scott thinks about that, because during the episode we did, the anniversary episode, Scott shared with us that he has he has shot photography for over, I think, 500 concerts alone, and other events. But 500 concerts alone, that's a lot of concerts, that's a lot of photography. So I don't know if what people think about using the word legendary when talking about Mr. Scott Braun, but definitely he's quite the professional photographer. I urge people to check him out on Facebook. Go to braunmedia.com, and you can check out all Scott's great pieces of work. Now, the second person I knew right away I was going to ask was Michael Wilkerson, who anybody who doesn't know, he was also a guest himself on the This Is Metal show, because Tom had told me, hey, sometimes when I'm unable to do a show, what do you think about having Mike from Fire Rock fill in for me? And so far he's done it one time, and Mike is a great fit too, because he works with Tom at Fire Rock, and even though surprisingly enough we learned they've never met face to face, Tom has put a lot of faith in Mike, and Mike has come through, and together at Fire Rock they've been very successful. So Mike is somebody I definitely knew we wanted to have on the special anniversary show. And both Scott and Mike Wilkerson, I should say, did not hesitate for a minute. They said, "Sign me up. Jason, include me. We're in." I reached out to Mr. Ben Hicks, the writer and creator of Midas Cove. Midas Cove is Ben Hicks himself. He came on This Is Metal to talk about what Midas Cove is, and interesting enough, although nobody's really seen Midas Cove to date, hasn't aired or anything, a single episode. It's a project that's in the works. It's a project with Fire Rock Music Group. That's why we had them on, and it was one of our most popular episodes, despite nobody really knowing what Midas Cove is. And so I thought, okay, the audience spoke. We're going to ask Ben Hicks to take part in this anniversary special we're doing in Tom's honor, because again, this is a project that Tom is working on at Fire Rock. I thought, okay, these are 3 people that I know are near and dear to Tom, and Ben Hicks right away said, what, sign me up. I'm all in. That's going to finally world premiere on August 20th. That's a Tuesday, as usual. That's another thing you guys should remember. Every week on Tuesday, is the day that you can know we're gonna premiere a new episode of the This Is Metal show. You guys need to know this is how we do it. We record the new shows every Wednesday, and then the following Tuesday, we will post a show that we've already recorded. And oftentimes we've got like 2 or 3 shows already in the can, and we roll them out in the order that they're shot. So that's another behind the scenes thing that we do at the This Is Metal show. Okay, now also you're going to want to tune in this week when we world premiere another episode on Tuesday, August 13th. We're going to world premiere our latest episode with the Atomic Kings. They're another great band on Fire Rock Music Group, and this is the band's 3rd time on the show. And very much like first time we had the guys on, we had the entire band here, and we always love when the whole band can come in. I'm talking about any band. Anytime you can get more than one guy to come in and take part in it, that's great because you get more than just one guy's view, one guy's perspective. So in this case, we had all 4 band members, and it made, as always, anytime we have the Atomic Kings on, and we'll have them back anytime they want to come on, not just because they're signed to Fire Rock Music Group, because they're one of my favorite, new bands. And you'll hear us talk about the fact that this album's been out a while, and until getting signed to Fire Rock, it was one of those albums that everybody was talking about. It was getting great reviews on the internet. Everybody was talking about it, but nobody could get their hands on the album. Well, Fire Rock has released it on CD. You can get digital copies, and come this November, which we talked about in a new interview with the guys, it's going to finally be released on vinyl. So be on the lookout for that. I tell you guys, we're always working on, a new episode and so much more at Chaotic Riffs TV. That's why we do what we do. It's just so great to do. And now, also just this week, we world premiered episode number 66 of Gar Borras' Time Machine. That is our pop culture show that I do with my great, wonderful friend, Gar Borras. Gar Borras, who's he? Check him out on the internet. He is the lead singer, the front man / manager who books all the shows for the Los Angeles-based Guns N' Roses tribute band. I would say the premier Guns N' Roses tribute band, Appetite 4, but number 4, Destruction. And Gar and I get together every 2 weeks, and we talk about pop culture. Now, you never know when you tune in. We could be talking about one of our favorite bands, our favorite albums, a great classic TV show, a great classic movie. You never know what you're going to get. But this week when you tune in for episode number 66 of Gar Borras' Time Machine, let me tell you what you're going to get. You're going to get an episode where we talk about the 50th anniversary of Happy Days, 50 years of Happy Days. And let me show you folks right here. This fun little magazine that I got in a Barnes & Noble a couple months back. This is what gave me the idea to do this episode. I'm always looking for ideas, and this is where we got some of our material for the episode. Okay, Richie and Fonzie, how Happy Days is that? I mean, if that does not remind you of the 50s, I don't know what does. But let me tell you guys. Okay, another thing. Okay, we've already done an episode on Happy Days, and it was a very popular episode. And anybody who's tuned in the show, typically we'll do an episode on our favorite classic TV shows, like I said. And you go on the site and find, hey, they've already done a show on Happy Days. Why are they doing another? Well, from time to time, we like to break the rules. We make the rules. So we, and the fact that this is celebrating the 50th anniversary of Happy Days, that's all the reason to do what we needed. So tune in to that, and you're just going to love it. I don't know what else to say. But I always love getting together with Gar Borras. In fact, next weekend when we get together to record episode 67, we're going to have fun talking about the Beatles' #1 album, which, of course, is a celebration of the Beatles' 27 #1 songs that went to #1. And part of the reason we're doing that is Gar and I previously done a 3-part episode on the Ed Sullivan Show, and one of those episodes on the Ed Sullivan Show, we talked about our top 5 performances. Each of us picked our top 5 performances from the Ed Sullivan Show, and at number 1, Gar had picked, not surprisingly, the Beatles, and you often hear the Beatles and their performance on the Ed Sullivan Show in reference anytime anybody talks about the Ed Sullivan Show, and so I thought, okay, you know what? They have a album number ones, celebrating 27 number 1 hits. It was Gar's number 1 performance from the Gar Borras' uh, Time Machine episode on the Ed Sullivan Show. So reason enough to do it. Okay, finally, okay. Each one of these episodes we do, the news updates, it gets just a little longer, but we always have so much to talk about. So I got to tell you guys, also in the last week, we put up 2 great new Chaotic Riff TV interviews. Now, these are interviews typically done by yours truly. Don't have anybody else taking part in the show, just me. And oftentimes these will be up and coming artists who we want to book and do an interview on as soon as we possibly can. Like when we book people on the This Is Metal show, Tom is a very busy guy. So typically, usually, there have been a few exceptions. We will get together and we will typically, Tom and I, like when we book people for the This Is Metal show, we will do one new show a week. So, typically we will have maybe 4 or 5 people on in 1 month. And so how many people we can book is kind of limited. And everybody wants to come on the This Is Metal show. So like with these categories TV interviews, it's a little easier to book these people, and we're a little more flexible on the day we can do it. And so that's what the categories TV interviews are really for. New up and coming bands we want to kind of shine a light on, so that's what these are. And two great ones, like I said, this week we got from the band Black No Graffiti. I talked to guitarist Chris Keller, and Chris is talking to us about being in a band with his brother, what that's like, and the inner workings of what it's like to work with the rest of the guys in the band. Tells a story of how they got came up with the band's name. So tune into that. And then probably a really great and fun, interesting interview was one I did with lead singer Drew Cagle from Drew Cagle and The Reputation. They just got check out the band, check out Drew's videos on YouTube. And again, it's a great band. It kind of reminds me of 70s classic rock. It's kind of Drew's stuff is kind of like Tesla in the sense he does everything from hard rock, metal, ballads. So if you're a fan of a band like Tesla, I think you're going to love Drew Cagle. And what's interesting in watching the latest video is you look at Drew Cagle and you're like, man, this guy's a rock star. He looks and sounds like a rock star. It takes me back to what 70s hard rock was like. But what's interesting is, as much as in the video he looks like a rock star, he sounds like a rock star. I mean, and we talk a lot about this because watching the video, you'll see me in the video, and I'm kind of the host here. And I was talking to Drew, but what's interesting is he sent still a cool looking picture of himself, but he didn't want to turn his camera on, and it made it for a very interesting interview. And you'll see what I'm talking about. And in spite of not seeing Drew on camera, it made for a really great interview, and you just have to watch it to see what I'm talking about. And finally, today is August 11th, folks. August 11th, of course, 2024. And today, as we sit, I wanted to look back on late great Warrant singer Jani Lane. Now, Jani, I think anybody will agree who followed Warrant, but Jani was just he'd be remembered for as a great singer, frontman, and songwriter. I mean, that's the thing people really remember about Jani. What a great songwriter and frontman he was. Sadly, like so many musicians before him, Jani's life was cut short. 47 years of age because he suffered from both alcohol and drug addiction. I mean, he died in a very sad way. He found alone in a California hotel room, a bottle of pills on the nightstand, and just what a very sad way to go. Anybody remembers that year he appeared on the last thing he did was appearing on an episode of um, Eddie Trunk's metal show, that used to be on VH1, and anybody has seen that, he looked like he was healthy, he looked like he was good, but yet kind of fragile. And so a lot of time, when it was announced that Jani died and he was found dead in the hotel room, of course, the fans and everybody around the world was very sad to lose a great talent like Jani Lane. But I know I was sad as a fan that he had to die such a tragic, lonely way, all alone. But we got his music. He left a great legacy music, and it's because Jani Lane was such a great songwriter that the rest of the guys in the band are able to have a career. And interesting enough, people don't know this, that before Jani died, he got to a point where he was kicked out of the band because he just wasn't able to perform up to his, legendary legendary status. And he kind of, when he knew that he wasn't able to go out there and do it like he used to anymore, he agreed to let the guys get Robert Mason. In fact, from what I understand, Jani Lane kind of handpicked Robert Mason. He wanted him to, replace him. So in a way, Jani Lane got to name his replacement, and Robert Mason actually replaced Jani Lane in Warrant before Jani Lane had actually passed away. So just kind of think about that, handpicking your own replacement. And another interesting fact I learned about Jani, preparing for the news update today, is that he was born John Kennedy Oswald. That was his birth name. And of course, sadly, as we said, Jani died on August 11th, 2011. And one more little fact about Jani I learned in prepping for this today that I did not know. I was reading that by age 5, Jani had taught himself to play the drums, the guitar, the piano, all by ear. By age 5, that's true. That's pretty amazing, And that's another thing a lot of people don't know. Jani Lane, very much like the legendary Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, who just recently retired himself, started out as a drummer, and it just amazed me. So many times, you read about guys like Phil Collins, Steven Tyler, Jani Lane, as we just said, start out as drummers, and the drummer is the guy in the back of the stage, but these are all legendary guys that moved up to the front, started singing lead, and well, I got to let you guys go, and we will see you next week for the 11th episode of the Categories TV News Update. So tune in. See you again all real soon. Take care, guys. Bye for now.